Welcome in, everyone, to the Tuesday Night Football Show presented by Fire+Vine. My name's Jacob Vincent. That's Noah McKay. Week 3 of the high school football season is here. We're going to recap Week 2, go through all of that. We'll bring you the UC Top 5. We'll see where Noah was wrong, where he was right. And, of course, we'll get you ready for all the broadcast games this week, as well as some of the other games going on around the Upper Cumberland. Welcome in. Hopefully everyone's staying dry. We did not on the way here. Fortunately, it's dry up here on the rooftop now here at Fire+Vine. Again, even when it was absolutely pouring down rain, it was still dry up here on the rooftop.
On the roof.
It's absolutely. It was pretty cool. It was pretty awesome. So we're up here. We are dry. Hopefully you're staying dry, staying safe. There's a little bit of water on the roadways out there, so take it slow if you do have to be out and driving around this evening. But nonetheless, we are going to be bringing you some football, and Week 3's here. I feel like we know how some of these teams are looking a little bit better after Week 2. Some of these teams. Some of the others we'll have to wait and see maybe after Week 3, but maybe a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. This is a full week. I mean, we're going to get to it. Jam-packed week for us. We are knee-deep in rosters and starters and all sorts of stuff. It's going to be a fun one. It is the Alamo for some teams this week. It is the last stand. You better win or season's getting close to over early on here as we move towards the middle portion. I mean, we did get some answers last week. We got some new questions. A lot of really good games this week. Top to bottom, maybe the best slate we've had so far through 3 weeks. A lot of toss-up sort of games. I'm excited to get into it. You should come out and enjoy some delicious food here on the rooftop, in the restaurant beneath us. It is a great spot right here. What better way to spend a Tuesday night than with us on the rooftop of Fire+Vine?
And it feels tremendous.
Awesome.
After the storm went through, it has cooled off. It feels amazing. Before we get going, of course, let's give a big shout-out to all of our all-inclusive sponsors for making everything that we do here at UCR possible. Of course, it starts with Watson Chevy, watching it right here on the Watson Chevy UCR Media Network. Mayberry's Furniture, Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing, Amonette's Eagle Auction and Realty, Swallows Insurance, Tee Up in Baxter, Sonia Brown with American Way Real Estate, Club Wyndham, Nick's Restaurant, Turf Masters Landscape Management, The Real Estate Collective, Livingston Regional Hospital, Fire+Vine, The Quality Family, and the Crouch Team with Highlands Elite Real Estate.
We want to welcome back the Quality Family. Another year with us here at UCR. All-inclusives, they come back year after year because you hear them a lot. We appreciate the Quality Family and that family of businesses for being with us as an all-inclusive sponsor, and welcome them back for the next year here at UCR.
Absolutely. We do welcome back the Quality Family, and we thank them for being a part of us here at UCR. Let's get into it. Probably the most contentious UC Top 5 that we have ever had, trying to decide it in Week 3. Of course, this takes me back to a couple of years ago in basketball. At the top of the boys basketball rankings, we had Cookeville and Upperman trying to decide between 1 and 2.
And then they both made the Final Four and one made a state championship game.
It's maybe that contentious?
I think, sometimes it has gotten heated. Typically, the three of us, it doesn't get heated in that way. Like, we still like each other for the most part. I mean, most of the time. That may be a little strong. Like is a strong word. I think this is probably the most discussion we've ever had. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Obviously, we have a couple of really good teams at the top, especially, where there's all sorts of different arguments you can make depending on your perspective, depending on what you've seen. And the three of us came together. We've all seen different amounts of these teams, and we went at I think we've looked at it from every angle. I mean, every possible angle. Somebody will be mad, somebody will be happy. Stephen A. Smith, who I don't like particularly, but he says the list is fluid. This list is fluid. It's definitely a lot closer than it has been. We got into it. I don't think we could say this was unanimous, but I think at least the two of us feel okay with this list right now. Goose may be still fighting a little bit, but and I love that. I mean, the thing about us, we're going to say what we think, and that's what this list is, and it is very much up in the air, like top to bottom. 3 and 4 are the only ones we didn't really discuss. Everywhere else, we had a ton of talk this week about the UC Top 5.
We feel great about 3 and 4, like you said. 1, 2, and 5, still taking shape.
And listen, I will say this. This is a way for people to learn and talk about stuff that's happening up here. Relax, especially on the picks. Take a breath. It's in good fun, and nothing is personal here. We love all these teams. We love every kid. It's great. You're the best ever. It's okay. Just relax, and we'll get through it. It'll be okay.
If you're going to comment on a post on Facebook, double check the date that the post came out. Just
This is the top 5 for this week.
Food for thought.
The top 5 for this week is coming out right now, not the one for last week. And guess what? All three
Still
top
going to be
fives,
upset, but
and there is more parity this year up here than we've had in a while.
Yeah.
There is a lot more parity throughout, really way more than just these 5 teams. So you've seen some movement as different teams, and I think that's going to continue. Mm-hmm. This is not the sort of year where I think we have many steamrolls through. This is going to be the kind of year where a certain team wins, you may not expect them to win one week. Maybe they lose the next week. That makes it tough for us to rank, but it does make it more fun for us to have these discussions.
Let's get into it. We'll start at number 5. We'll work our way up. At number 5.
Big time.
Welcome in to the Livingston Academy Wildcats. 2-0 to start the season. 2 decisive victories against Cumberland County and Warren County. And Warren County, we maybe got some answers for some other teams around the Upper Cumberland as well. Obviously, there's a couple of other teams that could have been here at number 5, but for right now, it's the Wildcat spot.
Listen, first of all, congratulations to Livingston Academy. They have earned the spot to be on the UC top 5 for the first time. We started doing a football top 5 3 years ago. First opportunity, first time Livingston is in the top 5. Don't squander it. Right? They have a big game this week with Smith County, so we'll see how that game goes. Have they played the most difficult schedule in the world? No. But what do we always say good teams need to do? House teams that are lesser. And that's exactly what Livingston has done. 2 games, running clock, both of them. Caden Weitzel has been sensational through 2 weeks. And all you can do is line up and play the team that's across from you. And Livingston has done what we would expect any team to do. All 4 teams above them, I think we expect exactly what they did for them to do the teams that are a little bit beneath them right now, or a little bit below them. So you can't take anything away from Livingston. We understand the competition is going to get a little stiffer this week and then moving forward in Region 4 4A play, but they have earned their way onto this list. They have been explosive on offense. The defense was much better against Warren County a week ago at Tom Davis Memorial Stadium. So this is a Livingston team, that the juice word's been thrown around. I did miss it. We'll get to where Noah was right and where Noah was wrong. But this is a Livingston team with a lot of momentum right now, and they have earned a spot on the UC top 5.
Absolutely. So Livingston Academy at number 5, a 38-3 win against Warren County last Friday. Number 4, and still there, the Gordonsville Tigers, 2-0 to start the season. They beat Watertown 17-6, a closer game, but able to get the win and get the job done.
And they're in a discussion to move up. There is a bunch of teams right here that are all very good, and week to week could move around a little bit depending on how impressive they are. Obviously got the leading over Coalfield. Watertown has been competitive, and we were very unsure of Watertown entering the season, but they did a very similar things against Smith County and against Gordonsville. That defense for Gordonsville, very good through 2 weeks. We saw how explosive Coalfield can be. They held them down to 18 points in 3 quarters in week number 1, held Watertown to just 6 points last week. That is a really good thing because we all think that this offense is going to kick it into gear. And I said this on Friday, and I think it's even more so the case, when we look at these classifications and the opportunity for an Upper Cumberland team to go on a run, the Gordonsville Tigers may be the best opportunity for an Upper Cumberland team to go on a real run in the postseason, especially if they continue to play defense the way they had. They are certainly not locked into this 4 spot. Would not surprise me at all if we see them move up the list at some point.
They absolutely could, especially with the schedule that they play. Pretty solid schedule, especially as a 2A team. But at number 3 are the Stone Memorial Panthers, who also beat Coalfield, albeit a little more dramatic.
Unbelievable.
48-41, they beat them in overtime. After they were down, we were going through Coach T on the scoreboard and checking throughout the game. They're down multiple scores early on in that game, but tip of the cap to the Panthers, able to fight back and get the win on the road.
It is not good that they were down that much. It is objectively not good. What is good is that resiliency that they showed, the ability to fight back in that game and come back. So a tale of certainly 2 halves for Derek Samber's team, but we've seen the explosiveness to be able to put up 48 points in that quick a fashion that they did last Friday. We saw what they did to York Institute. We saw the explosive downfield passing. And it almost feels like this is the perfect style of team for their head coach. 3 really solid receivers. A very quick and kind of bursting onto the scene running back with A.J. Vandiver. A quarterback that can read the field, that can get the ball out quickly, and that can run his tempo. And an offensive line that, while it's not the biggest in the world, they're athletic, can get on the ball and move. And a defense, now it's gut check time, because that Stone defense got a lot of play after week 1. There was a lot of talk about that Stone defense. They are going to have to come to the party. The good news is I think they got the pieces to do it. Coalfield, maybe not a great matchup for that defense. Huge. They got a game where they need to take care of business against their crosstown rival on Thursday, and then a huge one next week where they have an opportunity to move up the list when they take on the Upperman Bees.
So number 3, the Stone Memorial Panthers. Mentioned Gordonsville at 4 and Livingston at 5. This is where it
got interesting.
Discussion came apart.
It was a discussion. This was not a fight. It was a discussion, but there was a lot of back and forth.
A fueled discussion.
That's a good word. I like that, fueled discussion.
Let's let you know who number 1 is. Remaining at number 1 are the Upperman Bees, 1-1 on the season.
Lost.
They did lose.
They lost,
fell
Jacob.
on the road at Greenville, 41-33.
They lost.
That means Macon County is still the number 2 team, 2-0 to start
lost.
the season.
Are you aware Upperman lost?
Yes.
We know they lost.
Yes.
Okay. So we can go any way with this. Listen, I think this is what it comes down to. The unbelievable schedule Adam Kane has built for this football team this year. When you talk about Webb, who ended up being a little bit of a tune-up, Greenville, Beach, this week with Farragut, which we will get into on Thursday night, obviously in their region with those Macon County Tigers, with those Stone Memorial Panthers. You do not get a free pass for a loss by any stretch of the imagination. Entering that game, there was a gap in the top 5. Upperman had a little bit of a cushion there. It was not a gargantuan, unbelievable, can't overcome it gap. The gap got much closer by nature of that loss and by Macon County winning at Westmoreland. Still some issues. We have a few snap issues for Macon, right? It has not been flawless. I think Kyle Shoulders would say that. They have taken care of business, though, against 2 teams that they should take care of business against. So I think that's what it comes down to. If Macon continues to take care of business, and if Upperman has any more slip-ups, even against a good team, Macon's going to go to number 1 on this list. The gap got much closer this week. Obviously, they lost. They don't get a free pass for it. And as opposed to maybe here and here when it comes to the rankings, I think it's about there right now with these 2 football teams.
And Ray's saying something about the schedule. Ray, I'll tell you this. For Macon County, they scheduled Fulton, who was 6-5 last year. They were 1 point away from making the second round of the 4A playoffs. Westmoreland made the quarterfinals in the 2A playoffs last year. Nothing they can do about that.
And I would say for the Upperman fans who say that, it's kind of similar to Upperman last year. Listen, Macon is going to play Trousdale County. Yeah. They're going to play Westmoreland. Those are rivals. Really wish they were playing Smith County. Yeah. They're not this year. They have to fill that game with Greenbrier.
Right.
They're going to beat Greenbrier handedly at Pat Parker on Friday. We know that's not a great game. But remember last year, Lebanon 2 years ago was really good the year previous. Fayetteville was really good the year previous. Smith County, really good the year previous. And all those teams took a step back, and it made Upperman's schedule weaker than they intended. So I'm not saying that Macon intentionally went and scheduled weak.
Right, exactly.
Barron County out of Kentucky is a solid football team later on in this year. The nature of it is those teams are not at a high level at this point in the season. We have to take all those factors into account. And as the original creator of the UC Top 5, it is who we think the 5 best teams are right now in the Upper Cumberland. And how we decide to dictate that, and it took a lot. It's close. I mean, this was as contentious of a list as you're going to find. And really, 1 through 4 at this point, anybody has a dominant week, somebody else slips up, there's going to be movement on this top 5.
Yeah, like you said, that gap that we talked about at the beginning of the season, it's closer now, especially with the loss there at number 1. It brings it a lot closer.
You do not get to go and lose, even though it is to a great Greenville team, and we take that into account. Not all losses are the same. Not all wins are the same. There are no moral victories. They did not win that game. The gap got closer there, and if Macon had gone out and won 42-0 the first 2 weeks, Macon probably isn't number 1. It's very close, very, very close. And Gordonsville and Stone Memorial are not far behind either. They are right there. We had a discussion about all 4 of those teams. It's the most discussion with as many different teams as we've ever had in the football top 5.
So there's your UC top 5 for week 3. Number 1, the Upperman Bees. Macon County remains at number 2. At number 3, the Stone Memorial Panthers. The Gordonsville Tigers are at number 4. And newly into the top 5 at number 5 are the Livingston Academy Wildcats. And again, very fluid.
It's very fluid.
Very fluid. Could be very different come next week with some of the matchups that we have this week. Let's get into where no was wrong.
My dad is trolling right now. Okay, I love my dad, and I so appreciate him watching. You are going to spurn a firestorm with that comment, Pops. Please. People won't read the sarcasm in that I will. Thank you for watching. Papa Tom is tuning in as his Mads. Please do not.
Well,
do not spurn the firestorm.
Where were you wrong?
Everywhere. Where I was wrong, where I was right is everywhere. the single worst week of picks I have ever had. And I think you could say that's because I'm an idiot. I choose to not think that, of course. I choose to think it's a testament to that parity that we talked about, where we learned some more things in week 2, but I whiffed on some, and it starts with Livingston Academy. Way off. Now, I was not surprised that Livingston won that game. It was, I think I put in the expert predictions, it was the toughest game for me to pick. It was not competitive. Livingston was simply the better team. Rare when I whiffed that badly. You know, I missed Clay County, Smith County, but I thought it would be a close game. Completely whiffed. Hog-Eye, my apologies. You're on the top 5 this week as a token of my apologies. So I missed a lot. Where I was wrong, take your pick. You'll probably find it.
Speaking of Clay County, turns out Glasgow, Kentucky, they might be world beaters.
They look real good.
Real good football team.
As Bruce Lamb said, if I would have seen those 35-year-olds, I would have.
He's going through the comments over there. We got to give the reactions. Where you were right.
Yeah, I really like Gordonsville entering this year. And they're showing to be a solid football team. I think last year this is a Gordonsville team that may not have won that sort of a dogfight game that they had this week against Watertown. They're able to win it and really start to build some momentum at 2-0. And when you look at this Tigers team, they got an opportunity, I think, to stack a lot of wins on the board this year in that 2A region, which is going to be an unbelievable fight throughout that region with them, Smith County, and with Jackson County as well. But I think that's an area right now where I feel I like Gordonsville entering the year, and I think they're starting to prove me right.
All right, well, let's talk about the games that we had last week. We'll get you ready for the games this week as well. And we're going to start with that game out in Greenville, 41-33. Upperman falls on the road in a top 10 4A matchup. You kind of said it in our text thread throughout the game and the score updates. Wasn't a whole lot of defense in that game.
No, and it's not from a lack of trying. It's the lack of those two offenses are really, really good. And in some ways, both offenses built to give the other trouble. Bronzedon Chaffin is built to give everybody trouble. With weapons around him, two guys who I think there were a couple of Bs that did not have their best game. Not my place to call players that didn't have their best game out by name. Look for them to improve this week on a short turnaround against Farragut. A couple of guys who had a really good game. Bronzedon Chaffin on the ground. Listen, they don't have a chance in that game without Bronzedon Chaffin. Gunnar Block and Elijah Fitz both had really, really good games. Gunnar Block at that free safety spot, he's the shortest guy on the field, but he was sticking his nose in there. And unfortunately for Upperman, had to make a lot of tackles because guys were getting 8-10 yards, but he was making them, and then offensively had a couple of tremendous catches, particularly in the football game. And Elijah Fitz, listen, Zay Anderson beat him once late, and it was on a pure double move. They fake a little screen, and he takes off. Every time they were hunting up the big play, roll out, turn back, and every time from press coverage and playing tight, Elijah Fitz has a step on Zay Anderson, and Zay Anderson's legit. He did it last week as well against the kid from Webb. Those two kids had tremendous games. The defenses were not great. I think that's a consequence of how great these offenses are. Greenville, gigantic up front. Caden Ball, the senior quarterback, they were in midline option. You never see. It kind of reminds me of how teams, when they face Macon County, we say teams never see this. I haven't seen midline option at all in all my time calling games. They ran it to perfection. Enough of a threat on the outside that you have to respect it with Anderson and Clarity, and then Upperman. Bronzedon Chaffin, that offensive line, the entire game. It was an elite-level football game, and it's exactly why both those coaches scheduled that game. Because both, even Greenville, who wins the game, saw a lot of weaknesses in themselves. Upperman sees the same. They know what they got to get better at before getting into a brutal eastern half of the bracket in the 4A classification.
Struggled in the kick game a little bit. They started to go to the 2-point conversions.
And they didn't go for 2 enough. Yeah. And a couple of young kickers for Upperman, it's not about them at all. That's a tough spot on the road. The last touchdown, Upperman down 1. I think they would have gone for 2. Bronzedon Chaffin cramps up. Makes it difficult. I'd be surprised if you don't see a ton of 2-point conversions. And then the other thing for Upperman, at a certain point, they're doing the pooch kicks, which is just smart, kicking away from Zay Anderson. But they kept getting the ball on like the 40-yard line, and I go, why don't you just onside kick this? And if they get it, great, you recovered an onside kick. And if you don't, they have it 5 yards further. I think I'd take my shot. There were some moments there, and that's all a part of that things you learn by playing a team. Like, you don't learn anything by bashing a team and head into the ground by 50 points. You don't learn anything. You learn a lot by going to Greenville and playing that Green Devils team who, when you look at their path, they're thinking, they're doing what we're doing with all of our 4A teams here. How can we get late before we see Alcoa? Now, I think they are locked in. They're going to see those Tornadoes in the third round. It will be a fun game. I don't know if anybody can play with Alcoa, but it will be a fun game. That Greenville team's very good.
So Upperman falls to Greenville. Let's talk about the game that they got. They're playing on Thursday this week. They get Farragut at home. First home game of the season. It'll be presented by Gentry's Power Equipment on the UCR Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's where we're live right now. We welcome you in. Farragut fell to Sevier County. They're 0-2 to start the year. Sevier County in week 1, 27-7. Powell in week 2 last week had a lead late, ended up falling 26-21 in that game. Last season, 4-7. Play a very, very good schedule with the teams out there in East Tennessee. It's going to be a competitive ball club. Don't look at that 0-2 record and think this is going to be an easy win for the Bees.
You want to do that game together?
Yeah.
I think we'll do that game together.
Sure.
We'll have Hallie on the sideline, too. Why not? We'll just do everything. It'll be great. Thursday night, Farragut. Listen, we talk about Upperman schedule a lot, rightfully so. Farragut, defending 5A state champs, 4A or 5A, another 5A power in Powell. Then you turn around and you have Upperman. You're in a region with Maryville. That's why they're scheduling tough. They know the reality is they're going to have to figure out how to play against these elite-level teams. So you're right. Not your average 0-2. Could have scheduled themselves to 2-0 very easily. A very solid football team across the roster. Mm-hmm. Maybe don't have that game breaker yet. Somebody could always emerge. You mentioned they're very young. Some maybe haven't had an opportunity. It's a team that led with about 3 minutes to go against Powell last week. Powell scored late. We're down in a big hole early against Sevier County. Did not get running clock. Scored in the second half of that game to cut it to 13. Then Sevier County scored late. So they've been competitive. They're fundamentally sound. And they're going to see the things that Greenville did to Upperman on tape and try to do them as well. The good news for the Bees is they do not have a left tackle that's 350 pounds. But Upperman, especially without Walter Kane in the middle of that defense, those linebackers led by Colton Johnson, who's now playing the mic, they're going to have a better game up front in that front 7, front 6 for the Bees defensively than they had a week ago. Farragut's going to come and test them. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good get-right spot before Upperman turns their attention to the big one with Stowe Memorial next week, because it's not a cupcake. It's not a team that you can just assume you're going to hammer. You have to game plan. You have to come ready to play. But it is a team, if you do what you're capable of, you can have some success against.
It's a Farragut team that returned 13 out of their 22 starters to the squad this year. A lot of them juniors and sophomores. Not a lot of seniors on this Admiral squad coming in. So last year they were super young, went 4-7. This year still fairly young, but have the experience of last year. And they're going to go pretty much right up the middle between pass and run. They're going to bounce it between both of them pretty evenly coming into this one.
I think this is going to be a fun football game.
Yeah.
Right? Both teams, can throw the football. I know, and there's a comment about Upperman being one-dimensional. Listen, they are way less one-dimensional than they have ever been. Ever. Bronze Chaffer threw 18 passes last week, so 30 in 2 weeks. Obviously, they are explosive in the run game, but they are going to throw the football. If you like college-style games where both teams, they're going to run spread offenses, they're going to mix the run and pass, you're going to see some good concept. I think it's going to be a fun football game. I don't know how the script goes. I think Upperman feels like probably they'll be able to take care of business, but I think it's going to be a fun game to watch from that perspective. It's not going to be a 22 in the box at all time style of football game.
Going to be the first home game for the Bees as well. Yeah. Thursday game, standalone game on Thursday. Stowe Memorial also playing Cumberland County on Thursday, but should be a fun atmosphere in Baxter coming up Thursday night. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I think the Bees get right here. First loss for them in 1,088 days in the regular season. We were talking about the top 5 and how Upperman's kind of dominated the top 5. They have not lost a game since we started the UC top 5. So in the regular season, of course. How do they bounce back? I think they bounce back well. I've got the Bees winning this game, and I like them to handle business pretty good. I'll go 35-10.
That's pretty close to what I have, 35-14. I think the offense keeps doing what they're doing. I think the defense makes some more plays against Farragut's offense.
And it's an Upperman team under Adam Kane. When they have a little chip on their shoulder, they're very, very good. I expect them to have that chip in this game.
Short week, be interesting to see what that start looks like, but I think the Bees bounce back. Macon County beats Westmoreland 35-15 in the rivalry game. And how about the job Tim Case, Steve Lancaster, and Levi Boulders did on the broadcast? Listen, we were previewing it last week saying, if it gets on the air, tremendous. Because Westmoreland is
dilly.
It's just not great to broadcast from in terms of connection. Had no problems, fortunately. Sounded like they got the new tower up there, and it looked great, sounded great, and they did a great job. A lot of you tuned in, so we appreciate that as well. Slow start again. Similar script to the game against Fulton. They figured some things out in the second half and able to get the 20-point victory.
Yeah, and this is an interesting thing for Macon County because, and maybe early, this is going to be the formula for Macon County. May not be perfect, may not be, exactly what you want, some teachable moments in there, but then you start to see that culture really take hold, right? You're starting to see that they're not going to hurt themselves in a way that can lose you the game. Now, we're going to have to figure out the shotgun snaps because it's the second week where they've had a snap over the head, then they have a snap under the punter. Now, the schedule is very good for Macon County. We're going to talk about the Greenbrier game. They get Trousdale County. They get DeKalb County and White County. The last two certainly no slouches in Region 4, 4A, but they don't play Stone and Upperman until late in the season. They're going to have the ability to work some of these kinks out, particularly the next 2 weeks against Greenbrier and Trousdale County. They're going to want to get those things correct because those are the sorts of things when the game gets tighter that can cost you a football game. The good news for them is they've been able to lean into their culture. They've been able to lean into Matthew Wheely playing well at the quarterback position, Xavier Bentley making some plays, and getting timely big plays in both the kicking game and on defense to handle business where they're not scared of losing. They don't want to be in a dogfight at halftime against some of these teams, but it's a testament to the culture in Lafayette that they're able to pull away even when maybe they don't have their A game. They don't have that ace in the hole. Doesn't matter. You can have your C game, and that's something we talk about a lot in basketball. We don't talk about it a ton in football. Can this team play their C game and win? Macon County is the type of team, they don't have to have their A-plus game as much as you want to see it. I still don't think we've seen it, which is good because they're 2-0 with two resounding victories without seeing that A game yet. If they get to that A game, it'll be a very dangerous Tigers team.
I think it's kind of what we expected from this Macon County team coming into this season. With as much as they lost from last year, there was going to be an adjustment period, and the schedule is beginning to kind of work out in their favor in that aspect where you don't have those super tough games at the start of the season. And again, I talked about it. When you make the schedule, you don't get to decide how many seniors are gone from last year's squad on the other side. So you're playing who's in front of you. They're taking advantage of that. 48 points in week 1, 35 points in week 2, and a Greenbrier team that 0-10 last year, but they already have a win this year.
There's nothing negative about winning a game by 40 and then a game by 20. Let's make that blatantly clear. And it's another, and this is, we've talked with some teams like we want to be talked about in X way. We want to be talked about differently. Macon County is now talked about differently, right? When you win a state championship, when you're as talented as this Macon County team has, when it is a different conversation. So let's not get it twisted. Very impressive 2 weeks for Macon County. They've gone in and taken care of business. They have not sweated maybe losing a game. It's just what are the differences they're going to have to get to against some tougher competition? I think we both feel like the good news for them is they have the ability to hit that. They have an ability to correct the snap issues. They have an ability to not commit penalties, right? They have a trump card with their kicker, an absolute trump card with Gammon. They haven't had to uncork him yet, but that's a guy, game on the line, 48 yards, down by 2. He's going to trot out there and gives you a chance to win the football game. So a lot of things to like about Macon County, some things to correct, but a ton to like about the Tigers right now.
Matthew Wheely on the ground, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns last week in the win against Westmoreland, one of our top performers.
And they've had to be a little one-dimensional because of some of those snap issues. They've had to be under center in the wing. They ran some eye. Melrose fans, plug your ears. I know you're not watching this, but still, they had to run some eye. If they're able to get those things corrected, it'll really unlock them because now they can get back into their multiplicity, which makes them so dangerous.
Let's break down their game this week. It'll be on UCR3 coming up this week as Greenbrier. The Bobcats come to town, and this is a different Bobcats team from a year ago. Last year, they went 0-10. This year, they're already 1-1. They're coming off of a win against Sycamore 25-22, and albeit probably not world beaters in Sycamore, but a win is a win, and they've got that win under their belt for this Macon County team, 2-0. Obviously, this game will be presented by the Macon Bank and Trust Company, and again on UCR3 with Tim Case, Stephen Lancaster, and Levi Borders. Macon County back at home after going on the road last week, and another chance for them to especially work on some of those snaps, both in the offense and in that punt game.
No disrespect. They should win this game by 1,000,000 points. This should not
might be a little hard.
This should not be a fight. This should not be competitive. This should not be a game where we go, how is that 12-6 at halftime? This is a game where Macon County is clearly the better team. What is the line? 2 teams in different spots. This is a game where you can work on things. It's not the same thing. Go Vols. It is, Tennessee plays ETSU this week, and the discussion is not how does ETSU win. The discussion is what does Tennessee need to work on in this game?
Right.
What does Macon County need to work on in this game this week and next week to get ready for a very difficult Region 4 4A slate? They are the better team here. I'm not going to overanalyze it. All Macon County has to do is play their game and not make self-inflicted wounds, and they're going to win this game walking away. The good news is I think Macon County's going to do that this week. I know Greenbrier's 1-1. I think that's great. That's for a program that's trying to build itself from the bottom. This is not the bottom. This is not Sycamore. This is the defending Class 4A state champions on their home field. Just have fun. Just show up and have fun. This is going to be Macon County all day long on Friday night.
These two teams, they used to play each other quite a bit. 2012 to 2014, Greenbrier got the best of them 3 years in a row.
That ain't happening on Friday.
11 years ago.
That is not happening on Friday night.
What's the score?
1,000,000-0. I've got Macon County winning this game. They'll call off the Hounds, so give me Macon County 42-0.
Ray, we see your comments.
Got to relax.
Yeah.
Got to relax.
We're not going to give them grief. Trousdale County's a rivalry game. Westmoreland's a rivalry game.
By the
they
way,
chose Barron, Kentucky. Smith County wasn't available.
Why does it matter that much? Like, okay, one comment, okay, you say they play a weak schedule, okay. I mean, we're going to be all right, Ray, I promise.
Yeah.
It's high schoolers. We're going to be all right, all right?
Greenbrier's.
I love it. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you tuning in. We're going to be okay.
Greenbrier's a 4A team.
Yes.
About 80% sure about that.
I have no clue.
Did we pick the score?
I said 42-0.
Okay, 42-14 for me.
14?
I'll give them some points.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, that's a slight to the Macon County defense. No.
Late?
Nothing.
All right. Still going Macon County. As we said, the scores don't matter.
Don't worry about the score that we pick. It's the pick that matters.
Hey, Coach Qualls is tuning in. Let's talk about those Livingston Academy Wildcats. A big win against Warren County, 38-3. Have looked dominant these first 2 weeks.
The 5th-ranked Livingston Academy Wildcats.
Right.
Number 5 in the UC top 5. First time ever ranked in the football top 5 for Livingston Academy. Listen, this is Caden Weitzel. Caden Weitzel, he followed up a dominant performance against Cumberland County. He said, you haven't seen nothing yet. Put up another gigantic performance against Warren County. I mean, he was sensational. And as Livingston, much better on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
They've got weapons, especially against some certain teams that and what I love about what Coach Qualls and his staff have done so far, they have hunted mismatches. We saw that last week. We saw that last week. There's your broadcast partner.
Let's go,
Coach Shanks. He's over here. Come on in here, Coach. You can stick your head in here.
He's got his Fire and
right
Vine
there.
hat on.
Fire
He's
and
always
Vine.
repping.
Love it. Absolutely. This is a Livingston team. They've hunted mismatches. They found the fade route that they love last week. Adrian Jenkins puts it on the money. Caden Weitzel, get him in space, goes and makes something happen. That is really good as they've hunted up those mismatches, which were a little different in both games. Had turning into a matchup nightmare for people. Smith County, we're going to talk about it. You got to figure something out for him or he's going to go crazy. I mean, he's had a stat so far that are great for a season in 2 games.
Yeah.
He's been sensational.
He's almost to double-digit touchdowns on the season. He had 5 touchdowns against Warren County, all 5 touchdowns, I should say. 4 rushing touchdowns, 1 through the air, and a reception touchdown, over 218 yards on the ground. I think he's got 400 yards rushing through the starts of the season, if not just below it, at around 390. The defense was obviously better, only allowing those 3 points. And there were multiple times early on in that game that Warren County was deep in the red zone, unable to get points on the board with the exception of that 1 field goal. And we saw Warren County put up 16 against DeKalb County in week 1.
Ray, take 15 minutes, take a deep breath. All right? I appreciate you. Just take a deep breath. We're going to be okay. Just 15 minutes and come back. All right? No worries. Caden Weitzel had 6 touchdowns, by the way.
There you go.
He's watching.
He's correct.
He has been awesome so far. And we mentioned that and where I was wrong. Listen, I do think, obviously they started 2-0 last year. They routed Trousdale County and Jenkins. Cumberland County and Warren County. Okay.
How do you have 6 touchdowns and score 38 points?
Did they score 38 points?
Did I put that down wrong?
We're going to find out.
I might be wrong.
Everybody's adamant. By the way, Coach T, who we love, Coach T, was a disaster on Friday night. Okay. Every score was wrong. Every single score that we had, besides the games we were at, was wrong. I'll find out for sure. But
that's on me. Sorry, Caden.
Continue talking.
No, either way.
I think the teams they faced this year, listen, Jenkins, no offense, maybe the worst football team in the world at any level. Trousdale obviously is in the middle of a big rebuild. Cumberland County and Warren County both better than those 2 teams. But you do have to have your antennas up. Now you're facing much stiffer competition this week.
Let's talk about this one. I talked about it last week, or I put it on here on the notes. Last year, of course, Livingston Academy started 2-0, wins against Trousdale and Jenkins. Feels like...
Here's how, by the way. 6 times 6 is 36. some missed extra points or 2-point conversions.
You
You could get there.
There you go.
You could, in fact, get
There you
there.
go.
And 6 touchdowns.
And obviously, different teams in Trousdale County and Jenkins compared to Cumberland County, which at times looked really good in Week 1. In Warren County, a 6A program compared to Jenkins as well. Let's talk about the game they have this week, because this is a real opportunity for this Wildcats team, who, again, we put at number 5 in the UC Top 5. To back it up and see what they can do here in Week 3. Livingston 2-0 going to Smith County. Always a tough place to play. 1-1 this season. It's presented by the Overton County Farm Bureau. To be on UCR2, myself, Craig Cantrell on the call. Smith County falling to Clay County last week 14-7 in a slugfest. Going to be interesting.
Do not message me individually on this show. All right, I will not say nice things. Remember how I said
also, I'm
early,
awful at that. So
remember what I said early? That this is the Alamo for some teams. For the Smith County Owls, this is the Alamo. They got to find a way to win this game. And that's going to be very difficult because this Livingston team right now is a wagon. They are rolling into this game in a different way than what we've seen the past couple of years when they've had strong starts to the season. To me, feels more sustainable. Now, that does not mean that Smith County can't win this game. We're going to learn a ton and a sea of unanswered questions around the UC with this game on Friday night because – you're right. Last year, everyone was feeling pretty good about Livingston, and then laid an egg at DeKalb County in the wheel. Then everybody started getting hurt, right, in that DeKalb County game, and the wheels kind of fell off the wagon. If they can play – listen, Smith County's going to put up a better fight.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they got to go win by 30. I think that would be obviously unbelievable if they were able to do that. If they can go be competitive, and certainly if Livingston can win this game, the conversation is officially changed when it comes to Region 4-4A and when it comes to where Livingston is in this rebuild that's been going on for really in the Matt and Hauser era and now into the Caleb Qualls era. You know, he was able to take in a team that at least had some stability to it around it and has done a tremendous job so far, this entire coaching staff, as have the players. But now having to go to the hole.
Yeah.
Against a Smith County team that feels like they let one get away. You know, Goose said this was a dogfight back and forth, and Smith County very well may had a chance to win that game, and they didn't win. And a Smith County team is going to say, heck no, Livingston's not coming in here and winning this game. A tremendous game, a game in which if Cookeville Sparta is not on the board, one of the oldest and most historic rivalries, this is your game of the week. I mean, it's going to be a tremendous football game on Friday night.
Smith County, again, falling to Clay County last week, 14-7, and Goose said it. Smith County really moved the football pretty well between the 20s. Once they got inside the red zone, got closer to the red zone, unable to punch it in other than the one score that they had, obviously. Kind of a slugfest type of ball game, and we'll see if they're able to get things going. Obviously, Riley Martin and company, they can score with the best of them whenever those guys are clicking on all cylinders. Can this Livingston Academy team keep it going on the road? And obviously, their toughest game this season.
Big test for the Hogeye defense. By far the best offense they will face, but an offense for Smith County that has not put it all together yet. They had a solid showing against Watertown, 28-23, but then struggled a little bit last week against that Clay County Bulldogs defense. So, you know, but the best defense certainly that Livingston will have faced so far. Can Livingston have that explosiveness that we've seen against a team that matches up a little bit on the outside especially, right? You've been able to hunt up some of those mismatches with Rocco Carwile, Caden White, so in space. What happens when that space is a little bit tighter? Can Smith County generate a push up front? Smith County has struggled more than I think we expected along the offensive and defensive lines. When we talked to Coach Dyer preseason, he said, we got to get a little meaner. I think they're still looking to get a little bit meaner and generate a push up front. No duh statement, as Justin always says. The winner of the trenches is going to win this game. And a spot where Livingston has been pretty good, especially last week in the trenches defensively. Struggle a little bit up there in week 1. Smith County, kind of the opposite of that. And Smith County was really good against Clay County last week, only gave up 2 scores. Who's going to be able to exert their will up front and generate some big plays starting from there? It's going to be great to see. To me, I said it last week, and I know Livingston fans, they got on to me. I'll eat it. One of the toughest games on the board to pick maybe this entire season is this game on Friday.
Pick it.
Oh, goodness. You know, I've gone back and forth a little bit. I really like the swag of this Livingston Academy team right now. Number 5 in the UC Top 5, Smith County right there in that honorable mention kind of tier along with several other teams. Yeah, I would be the biggest win for Livingston Academy in a long time.
Very long time.
In a long time, maybe since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Wildcats 21-14.
I like it.
And a huge win.
I like it.
It's tough. And more about Livingston than Smith County. I just really like the way this Livingston team's playing right now.
I'm along the same train. Feel pretty, I don't know, it's an odd confidence about this Livingston Academy team. Similar score, I'm going 2 scores.
Wow.
28-14.
Both quarterbacks. Be very interesting to see. How does Adrian Jenkins play? And probably the biggest opportunity spot for him. The Cobb County game, I know there was a lot of excitement for it last year, but it didn't feel like Livingston was quite there yet entering that game. And then, of course, the injury happens. If Livingston wins this game, they play Sparta in a couple of weeks in a huge region game. We're going to talk about the White County Warriors. But you just start to forecast ahead what's ahead for this Livingston team. And I think if they win this game, that forecast is drastically different than if they lose this game. Got to be competitive no matter what. Adrian Jenkins against Riley Martin, going to be a great quarterback battle to watch on Friday night.
Once again, this one will be on UCR2 coming up Friday night, 7 o'clock. Greg Cantrell and myself, presented by the Overton County Farm Bureau. Looking forward to it. We had fun week 1 at Cumberland County. We get it again here in week 3. Let's talk about the Cookeville Cavaliers. They went on the road this last week to FRA. First of all, that place is sweet.
Yeah.
You're perched up, especially at the football stadium. You can see everything from Nashville. You got the tower behind you, a little bit down 65.
Tower? What's the tower called?
The Batman Tower, sorry.
Batman Building.
Batman Building, whatever.
You can see Mr. Indiana over here. We got to make sure.
Yeah, listen, we don't have big buildings.
We know.
You can see the skyline behind us. And then you got the nice view out in front with hills. I call them mountains, whatever you want to call them.
It's definitely not mountains.
Well, I got cornfields.
There's no mountains in the middle of Tennessee. I can promise you that. Mr. Hike, you should know that.
Anyways.
Mr. Outdoors. Don't know the difference between a hike and a hill and a mountain. That's tough. Indiana education. Wings up. We know the difference. Yeah. They teach us.
Anyways.
More on that to come.
40-14, Cookeville fell on the road. First half, it was 14-14. It was tied at halftime. Felt like, and I was kind of telling you before we got going. Felt like.
All-inclusive sponsor. Come on. From the Crouch team behind Elite Real Estate on here. Chad Crouch.
We got everybody out
What's
here.
Your phone number, Chad?
931-979-1191.
There you go. Right there. All-inclusive sponsors. He's at Fire+Vine. Everybody's at Fire+Vine tonight. He's an Ohio State fan. We don't hold it against him. It's okay. I had to see him the day after Tennessee lost. He was mean to me. It was bad, but it's okay. I still love him. Anyway, apologies. Go ahead.
The Cavaliers played much better.
It shows crazy.
Played much better in the first half, 14-14. However, a lot of penalties, a lot of turnovers. Second half, they had that momentum going, and then a fumble, got the football back, fumbled it away again, and that's when it started to kind of unravel for them in the second half.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because we did the Friday Night End Zone show at 1 in the morning. By the way, I woke up. I fell asleep at 3 a.m. My alarm went off at 4:30.
How?
I went and gave my all for Tennessee. I levitated in midair when Joey Aguilar found Braylon Staley. It was great. I don't know if that was a fever dream or not, but it was what a show at 1 in the morning. Tremendous.
I don't know how I was there.
I don't either, but it's because we're crazy. It's what we do. And I challenged you because you said, Cookeville was better offensively. And I said, okay, you say that, but they scored 2 times just like they did in the first meeting. I guess they scored 1 touchdown in their first game. And you said it's just crisper. So going back and watching that game, I see what you mean. Yeah. Certainly was, particularly in the first half. More in rhythm, able to hit more of those layups. That's what we talked about last week. And that does give you some optimism moving forward because I think you saw glimpses of, okay, when this Cookeville team is clicking, this is what they could be and move the football. Now, the problem is it's a Cookeville team that entering the season had their sights set on some lofty goals. I don't know if that's going to happen this year for this Cookeville team, but that's okay. That doesn't mean throw everything away and it's over. It just means you're seeing, and I think this is valuable, you're seeing where you have to get to that level, and you're just not quite there yet. You're facing some teams with some legit athletes.
that FRA team, I mean, they're running 2 running backs, really, and a couple of receivers, just insane athletes. And I told you in the End Zone show, I said, listen, they're 1 running back. He likes to jump at the end of plays for some reason. He got flagged for jumping over a kid. So it was ridiculous. But, I mean, the speed they had, Cookeville's probably not going to see that the rest of this season.
Well, they play Maryville. But even so, yes. And the comments rolling in here. William has Livingston beating Smith County 20-14. Chris says he thinks Livingston handles them. So he's a lot of Livingston optimism in the comment section right now. But for Cookeville, I think you're seeing the standard. You're seeing where you have to get to. I still wonder who is the offensive playmaker that's going to emerge.
Yeah.
A name that I think maybe Hunt Reese has some interesting traits to him. Young kid, really. You see him. He got a little more play last week than he did the week before. Caden Cisco, obviously, at the wide receiver position is another guy, but you're kind of dependent on some things. Can somebody start to just get him the ball, as we talked about with Livingston and Caden Weitzel, get him the ball in space, let him make moves. Let Bronston Chaffin get in space, make moves, right? Can somebody emerge for Cookeville? And right now I feel like that may be Hunt Reese. Blake Barrett, Evan Banks, both good tailbacks, but they're power guys. Hunt Reese has a little more twitch to him. I wonder if starting this week with Sparta, a different matchup that we're going to get to, are they going to try and get more in space? Because, and I'm a little surprised, they have not run a ton over the left side of this offensive line, especially with Big Austin Hone in that left tackle spot.
Amari Williamson on that side, too.
I mean, you're talking about as big of guys as you're going to find anywhere in the state, anywhere, in any class, any division. Are they going to start getting into that and getting behind their two biggest and best offensive linemen? You see, oddly enough, it was a much wider gap in the game, but I feel better about Cookeville after that game than I did after week one with the loss to Siegel.
And that's kind of what I said in our end zone show. It just being there, seeing that, it felt better. And I think a lot of it was FRA is
really good.
Like one of the top teams in the state. Good.
Yeah, no question.
Which they're not super disciplined, but with the athletes that they have, it doesn't really matter.
You know, you say that, I mean, Pearl Cone, Melrose, how many times do we – it's just sometimes you're just flat out, God gave you better. Gave you better skills.
Them.
Yeah, they're really good.
That's them. That's a really good football team. Let's talk about the high school football game of the week presented by Mayberry's Furniture. Cookeville 0-2, going to Sparta 1-1 on the season. This will be on the UCR Facebook page and YouTube channel. It'll be him, Jeremy. Coach Dodgen is going to be down on the sideline for this one as well. That'll be a fun broadcast. Sparta, big win against York Institute last week. It was 35-14.
Coach T got us on that one.
About 85% sure on that as well. I did go back and find a stream, and they said 35-14, so I'm going off of that. But, yeah, Coach T had 42. If you're a White County coaching staff, let us know. 35-14, 35, really, really good compared to week one.
And we're able to get some passing going, which was big. They were not able to do so in week one. Obviously, a torrential downpour late, but early, a clear emphasis on establishing the run. Tucker Pinion had a very good night against York Institute. That was critically important. York, this schedule is going to be brutal. It doesn't get much easier this week with Banks County.
Schedule.
I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah.
And they're going to take some lumps here, but probably be better on the end of it for it. But that being said, Sparta did exactly what they needed to do. Very similar to what Stone did. Went in and took care of business. They had to go up to Jamestown. Big win for this coaching staff. Get that first win. Get that monkey off your back. Feels so much better than being 0-2 entering the Cookeville game, knowing you've got 6A, Cookeville, and your biggest rival coming to town. So a really, really nice win. Cole Sims has been great through 2 weeks. And listen, there have been questions, and all I will say about Sparta, obviously we're not doing every Sparta game. We are doing a couple. We're doing this one. We will do more road games than home games, and that is purely because we get charged to do games. And we have sponsors at Cookeville. We have sponsors at Macon County, which make it possible for us to do that. It's that simple. It's not some big conspiracy or anything else. We've talked about Sparta every week, as you've seen. We're going to talk about them a lot this week in the game of the week. I'm running a business, and I've got to pay these guys and keep these lights on. And it's just that simple. So, Jeremy says, do I get hazard pay for having to work with Coach Dodgen?
He'll be down on the sideline. You'll be okay.
Coach Dodgen are friends. Regardless, I just want to say that because there are some guys, and it's unfortunate, that aren't getting as much publicity right now, just the nature of the beast. Cole Sims has had a great start to the season. I think he's over 400 rushing yards so far through 2 games. And he's a guy that we asked early in the year who's going to emerge as a playmaker. And we said him and JoJo Dowell. And JoJo Dowell has been good. Yeah. Cole Sims has been great. And Sparta last week hung onto the football. So many fumbles in week one against Soddy Daisy in key spots. Seemed like every big play was a fumble. Not this year, or not last week. Sparta, if they could play like that, I'll tell you this. This game of the week, it's a lot more intriguing to me right now than it was 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago when we made our spreadsheet with the games, this was not locked in as the game of the week, which is weird for Cookeville Sparta. About halftime of last week, I said the game of the week is going to be Cookeville Sparta. It's going to be a great game. And by the way, don't start a big controversy. It's just we got a lot of questions about why we're not doing every Sparta game. That's all. It's not a big conspiracy. There's not some huge blow up. There's not some huge fight. I just wanted to answer it once so that maybe we don't have to answer it 500 times, especially this week when we go down to Sparta. It's fine. Everybody can do whatever they feel is necessary for them to do. That's all. So please don't blow my phone up. It gets blown up enough. Anyway, game of the week. Let's go.
Cavaliers beat Sparta last season 42-34, trailing early in that game, and then really took control in the second half, leading by 2 scores for most of it and able to win that one 42-34. Mentioned Sparta got the win last week that they needed to kind of build the confidence going into this one. Cookeville, they're still looking for it. Obviously, they had the tough loss in week 1 against Siegel. FRA, not kind of expected, just not necessarily the score, but in terms of the results and coming out with a loss, just because we know how good that FRA team is. You mentioned the Alamo for Smith County.
Yeah, here's the Alamo.
It kind of feels like that this week for the Cavaliers.
Took it right out of my mouth. I mean, it's the Alamo. Cookeville has, as you look at this Cookeville schedule, and this is not me saying that they're definitely going to win this week. It's just if they don't win this week, I don't know where the wins come. Mm-hmm. Right? Mount Juliet has struggled through 2 weeks. Wilson Central's 2-0, haven't faced 2 great teams. There's a couple of games. Next week, a very tough one with Gallatin.
Gallatin's look great.
The entire complexion changes with a sound Cookeville win.
Yeah.
If they go and win soundly, all of a sudden I think we look at the Gallatin game differently, right? But if Sparta handles business and wins on their home field, I don't know where Cookeville goes from there, right? These is 2 different spots, okay, in this way. This is a must-win for Cookeville. This is a must-compete for White County, in my mind. And we talked about that last week with Cookeville and FRA.
Coach Dodgen responded.
I wonder how many texts Jeremy ever gave Coach Dodgen. We're going to find that out this week. We'll see how many texts he gave out.
And what he said.
Jeremy will deal out a text. Now, he'll stick you real quick. So he wanted to tee me up a few times from the rafters. Couldn't quite get to me in time. Ian, you're right.
Yeah.
You don't want to see me in the low block.
Well,
You see me. It's
I think he'd be okay.
No. Ty Cobb doesn't want to see me in the post. Come on.
He was okay.
Too strong.
He was okay against Greenville last
year.
Too
strong. It's a joke. Okay, my back would be gone. It would be on the floor, tears crying. Everything.
Back would be on the floor?
Yes, it would fall
Nothing
out.
Else? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would be just
that
a disaster.
Would be a problem.
Can I do my job?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
All you.
Okay, I don't even remember what I was saying. Must compete.
There you go.
Last week, Cookeville was a must-compete game for them at FRA. I don't look at White County negatively if they lose this game by 7 points, if it's a dogfight type of game. That doesn't mean they have any intention of losing this game. And Cookeville Sparta has won, especially this year, maybe the most unknowns we've ever had entering a Cookeville Sparta game, right? In the past, for a lot of years, it was just Cookeville dominant. Then we had the Dowell versus Owen years, which were unbelievable. Last year, another great game, a Tripp versus Owen year. Mm-hmm. This year, some new stars are going to emerge in this game. We talked about Hunt Reese. We talked about Caden Cisco. Cole Sims is hop and have a big game. Can Tucker Pinion really kind of cement his name in the Upper Cumberland as one of the top quarterbacks in the area? All of those things, we're going to learn a lot on the biggest stage when Cookeville and Sparta get together and UCR's in the house and it's the game of the week and the place is going to be jumping and rocking and the train horns are going to be blaring out, I'm sure, at Warrior Stadium. That's where the stars are born. It's not when you play FRA. It's not when you play Soddy Daisy. It's when you play Cookeville. It's when you play Sparta. This is where we have that big game where you can really emerge on an area-wide and statewide stage.
It's a huge game for both sides and going to be, like you said, a great atmosphere in Sparta coming up Friday night. This is the high school football game of the week. We got to pick it.
Oh, my goodness. I think backs against the wall desperation for a team we expected to be solid is a heck of a motivation. On the other side, I think Sparta senses this is a big opportunity to make a stand. Little concerned about Cookeville and that interior of the offensive line against Winfrey and Broyles. That is a huge matchup to watch. If Cookeville can mitigate the damage that those two big old boys will wreak on your game, I think Cookeville has a good chance to win this game. On Tuesday, not on Thursday when the column comes out, I will lean Cookeville. Give me the Cavs 28-21.
I'm going pretty close as well. A little lower scoring game, 21-14 Cookeville. I think they get the job done and get that much-needed win that they're looking for going
big
forward.
Big game. Whoever wins this one comes out with a ton of momentum. Mm-hmm. The loser, back to the drawing board with a very tough schedule ahead.
Let's talk about some of the other games across the Upper Cumberland coming up on Friday night. There's also one on Thursday. Stowe Memorial at Cumberland County on Thursday. Of course, that crosstown rivalry in Cumberland County. Jackson County at Clay County is an interesting one. Jackson County 2-0 to start the season. Got a big win against Midway last week. Clay County, of course, they got their bounce-back win, and they looked much more like the Bulldogs. An opportunity here for the Blue Devils in a game that Clay County has really handled for the last few seasons.
We took a real look at this as a potential game of the week. This is a super interesting game in Solana. Of course, our friends over at the Horizon Sports Network will have it on Facebook, so you can watch all the action there. Just a great matchup. And a Jackson County team that we don't know a ton about outside. We were high on them entering the season. They're 2-0, but we know nothing about Clayton County, Kentucky, and Midway, right? Conversely, Clay County loses handily to that Glasgow team, which we're learning is very, very good, and then has a very nice win last week at Smith County. By the way, they called me. As you saw in the cinematic highlight, they said call Noah, and I brought that on myself. I said, do not call me. And Bruce Lamb called me. That's fine. I congratulated my friend on a big win. That was great. It was a little bit audacious after we all picked them week one to call me then, but I can take it. Regardless, first real test when it comes to teams we know for the Jackson County Blue Devils, a team trying to make that next step forward. And whichever team wins comes out of this game, when you look ahead at the schedule, Jackson County has a tough stretch coming up with Gordonsville and Smith County. Clay County has a couple of tests, but a ton of very winnable games. And I look at it from Clay County's perspective, a team that I expected to have 9 or 10 wins entering the season. They win this one, right back on the board when it comes to 9 potential wins in the regular season.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Jackson County, Clay County coming up Friday night. Meigs County at York Institute. Meigs County has normally been a fairly solid team in that 3A classification for York Institute, looking for that first win this season.
It's the moment last year where everything turned around. Everybody wrote off York at 0-2, two handed losses. And what did they do? They rattled off 11 straight victories. So we'll see if Derwin Wright has a little bit more magic in him. Going to have to grow up faster in that offensive and defensive lines. And that has been the key, and it is so critical, particularly for York with the system that they run. And they've got to figure out a way. Seems like Grayson Winningham may miss some time. They got to generate some sort of passing, because that takes some pressure off that offensive line, run blocking out of that single wing. They need Nathaniel Tipton to hit some passes downfield. This is a tough one. This is a tough schedule for York. I mean, they did not have the luxury of, because nobody who was going to be looked at as maybe a cupcake or an easy game was going to schedule York Institute despite what York lost. So you're looking for improvement. This, again, improvement every week for York before you get into a very difficult region that has the defending state champion sitting in it.
DeKalb County at Watertown as they look to bounce back. Of course, Watertown has been in a couple of close ones with Smith County and Gordonsville the last couple of weeks. This one's an interesting one. Gordonsville is traveling to Fayetteville. Of course, we know what Fayetteville looked like last year, but this year they are 0-2. However, they played Columbia Academy in a fairly close game, and they only lost to FCS by 2. It was 50-48.
One of the craziest games of the week last week. By the way, Cole Eade says sorry for calling me out. It's okay, Cole. You know, I played. I get it. I would put my name up on the board, too, if I heard me saying that they were going to pick your opponent. I would do the same thing. It's all good. I loved it. I loved it. I promise. Keep that same energy. Like, that's what we do it. What I don't appreciate is people who aren't affiliated with the game at all thinking they're saying something. Cole Eads, I could take it. I love it. Yeah, that game was crazy. Fayetteville FCS, and seems like Fayetteville much closer to what they were
this year.
Yeah, much closer to what they were. There was a ton of turmoil in the offseason down at Fayetteville last year, and it seemed like that parlayed through the year. That is a perennial power, and it seems like they're much better. And another spot, similar. This is very similar in my mind to the Coalfield game, where a very losable game on the board. But if Gordonsville goes down to Fayetteville, where you know you're going to have terrible officials down there at Fayetteville, if you're able to win that game, man, how much momentum does this Tigers team have in the battle of the Tigers? Man, if they can win this game, a ton of mojo. Before a big stretch for them, that includes Jackson County, and then they don't have to face Smith until the end of the year. But they're going to need to be playing their best ball before the Blue Devils come down.
Of course, Fayetteville dropping down to 1A this year as well as they go down in classification. Westmoreland is at Red Boiling Springs, and Pickett County at Cannon County coming up this week. Let's take you through the broadcast games once more. We've got 4 broadcast games coming up this week, 1 Thursday night, 3 on Friday night. On Thursday night, the Upperman Bees hosting the Farragut Admirals. That'll be on the main UCR Facebook page and YouTube channel, presented by Gentry's Power Equipment. And then Friday night, 3 more broadcast games. The high school football game of the week is down in Sparta as Cookeville travels to Sparta. It's presented by Mayberry's Furniture on the main UCR Facebook page and YouTube channel. On UCR2 is a fun one. Livingston Academy at Smith County, presented by the Overton County Farm Bureau. And then on UCR3, Macon County hosting Greenbrier, presented by the Macon Bank and Trust Company. Of course, we'll have a UCR End Zone show afterwards, and it might actually start before 11 o'clock.
Now, listen, I love the show at 1.
I don't.
And if you watched the show at 1, we appreciate you. There were a ton of people tuning in. It was fantastic. But for you, now getting up at the alarm going off at 4:30 after that was brutal.
That's crazy.
But for you, that's not your prime hour, right? You're much better at 7 a.m. than I am, and I'm much better at 1 a.m. Than you are. But, that was kind of made it interesting. It was the inverse of what it usually is.
It was interesting,
By the way,
for sure.
We will remind you, keep your eyes on the website, on our Facebook page, Expert Predictions coming out, of course, on Thursday, because we have a 2 Thursday games this week. Also, some more news coming in a couple of days. Something we're very excited about, but I can't quite say it yet.
Volleyball tomorrow?
Yes, big one.
Yep.
High school volleyball matchup, Star Memorial and Upperman. Huge district matchup between those two teams, presented by Watson Chevy and Nick's Restaurant. So we've got 3 straight days of high school coming up.
Of course, yesterday was Labor Day. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. Football show tonight, volleyball tomorrow. Thursday we've got football. Friday we have football. And obviously, busy week.
You tired yet?
This week.
Good.
We're good now. We're good now.
Labor Day.
As long as we're not up to 1 a.m., we're fine.
Why would you be up at 1 a.m.?
Well, 2 a.m., actually.
Whoever stays up to 1 a.m.? Me every day.
We do, apparently,
Me
on Friday
every day.
night.
A lot of the stories you see get posted at 2 a.m. and shared at 9.
Once again, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, a lot of people commenting. Leave us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Give us a share and like the stream, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook. But that's going to do it for us here on a Tuesday night from the rooftop of Fire+Vine. Again, volleyball tomorrow, football Thursday and Friday. Of course, we'll have the End Zone show to wrap up all the action. Only Friday night, not Thursday night. And it might even start before 11 o'clock because he'll be in Sparta. I'll be in Carthage. Maybe.
My game will go to 11.
Maybe. Well, it's going to start before 1.
I really hope so.
Let me take that back because there is weather in the forecast.
No,
so we're not even going to say anything.
There's no weather in the forecast. We're fine. Hey, we got some good games coming up this week.
We do.
Thursday night starts Farragut Upperman. Friday game of the week, Cookeville Sparta. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Tune in
From the hole.
It's going to be a lot of
Livingston,
fun.
Smith County.
Be up there on the roof.
You can see Macon County score 1,000 points.
You can.
Against Greenbrier.
Yep.
I mean, what could be better?
We'll be there for it.
Let's go.
Hopefully you tune in for it. That's Noah McKay. I'm Jacob Vinson. We'll talk some more football. We'll talk volleyball tomorrow. More football later this week.